Yo, people, welcome back. Lateness is greatness. You already know what time it is. Listen. It's Valentine's Day. You know what I'm saying? But that has to be on hold because no love. There's no love now. You know what I'm saying? This is Newcastle United. This is the bogey team at St. James's Park. I know we patted them early in the season, but I still got hurt in my heart. And I'm ruthless. I'm feeling ruthless. I want them 3 points after I saw the weekend's action. I saw Liverpool slipping up. I saw Aston Villa doing a slip-up as well. I thought to myself, yo, this is our opportunity to take lives. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm joined by Sam. How are you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. Like you said, when Liverpool lose, it's a good day. You know what I mean? And the fact that we've got a game in hand as well. Even though all of these game in hand stuff is starting to confuse me. Like I get excited and then I look behind us and there's man that have got like three games in hand on us. So I don't even know it's me. But yeah, man, I'm all good. I'm all good.
Love that. And Mayowa, how you doing, bro? Back again. You see what I'm saying? Preview gang.
I'm Gucci, man. I'm Gucci. Obviously, got the blue one for the match tomorrow. It's not a Valentine's Day red thing. It's a blue thing. Keep the blue all of that. But yeah, man, we know what we've got to do, man. This one needs to be comprehensive. Even 100%. This conversation needs to be comprehensive to the point. Let's get the 3 points and get out of that godforsaken man.
100%. Literally. People in the chat, big up yourselves as well. Don Robbie, not the real one, but it is what it is. You man love stealing people's names on this site, I swear to God. People, listen, first of all, like I said, the teams around us have dropped points. So we are very much in a situation where we can go ahead now, go into top four, it's in our hands. And I have to talk to you guys, first of all, about their expectations. Because Tuchel, when he came in charge, when he took over, we was off the pace. I think we was in like 10th. And people said, if we make top four, cool, fantastic. But if you don't, you're not going to get sacked for it. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying the man would get sacked if he didn't make it now. But what are your expectations? Obviously changed now with the form that's uptaken. I'll start with you, Sam. Just how are you feeling in terms of top four now? Is it a must? Is it something that you just won't tolerate if we don't make it?
I just want consistency, bro. Like the way we're going now. Like if we don't make top four and we're consistently playing better. The teams behind us maybe win their games in hand. Hopefully they don't and stuff. And let's say we just fall short or we're just in that conversation until the end of the season. I'll still be happy because at the end of the day, from the point he came in, it was an uphill battle. Like he had a lot to do. He had a lot of players to turn their fortunes around. He had to get in and really switch things up. And he's doing well. So if he continues in this way, I think we'll get top four. But like you said, you don't really know what's gonna happen around us, innit? So yeah, man.
I do actually fully expect us to get it, but at the same time, like I said, if he wasn't to get it, I wouldn't take his contract away from him. What about you, Mayowa? Are you feeling ruthless about this?
You see me, yeah, that picture behind you. In fact, even the David Luiz, to some extent, that's just greatness. You understand? Like with me. The only reason I believe he was given this contract mid-season is because the expectation is we have to win a trophy. We have to get top four. If we wanted to quote unquote tank or just say, you know what, we'll cruise, we would have got someone to just take us to the end of the season, just be like, you know what, patch it up, make it look pretty. This season we can't go for that first spell where we don't win the trophy for 2 seasons. So he knows he has to deliver. This guy was at PSG. He won everything, got sacked. He knew he has to deliver. That's the expectation of this football club. And I feel like to a certain extent, that's why him signing to Chelsea is even a benefit because he knows the lay of the land. Like I have to achieve, even achieving somewhat is not enough. I have to do everything. So I feel like top four has to be there. Even if you look at the games he's come in for, like the improvement is we are seeing Chelsea be how Chelsea should be. That's why I've not got overexcited because it's like, this is what I expect. That don't get me wrong. Like we were doing appalling stuff before and we're seeing better stuff now. But
are we allowed to expect now though? Because you know what it is, yeah. You know what it is, yeah. Like we've all been in that position. Like you said, the picture behind me, yeah. Like you actually think, okay, cool. That's the levels that we're usually at. But at the same time, after losing Hazard, you've seen us go like this, yeah. Would you not be happy with just some form of consistency without putting we have to get this, we have to get that? Because if you set yourself them targets, yeah, you're just leaving yourself to be upset, man.
No, so let me explain that. You see, with when I say top four, if we get top four, we're gonna have to show consistency to get there because of how far back we were. Even if you look at the run of the games now, yeah, Lampard for me wasn't sacked because of those games coming up. Lampard could have won those games. He was sacked for the bigger picture in terms of we're not playing well. We can't see any fundamental improvements and we can't see where you're going to take. Even in that statement, he said, we don't see any uptake of where you can actually take us.
Yeah.
Can this guy coach? Yes, we know he can coach. Can he compete? Well, wherever we've seen him somewhat compete. Does he have a philosophy? He has a philosophy. The questions that have always been asked about him is, can he really compete at the top? Can he really like be the guy? Because like, let's be real, like a lot of people have looked at him and said, oh, he's world class. He's one of the best managers. A lot of people said, I don't think that yet. He still needs to prove it. And I feel like he's in a perfect situation now. Get us top four comfortably. Try and win us a trophy. I mean, even the games coming up now, you've got Southampton after this game, who are in free fall. We've had Wolves, Burnley, Spurs. We have Newcastle now, who are a bit indifferent. Then you've got the two Atleti games. Like this, for me, it's always been a build up to the Atleti games. Like show people what Chelsea should be or could be in a short amount of time. Because I know you can't coach and everything. There's 3 days training. You're living in a hotel, etc., etc. But just give people a sneak peek. Show that sort of fundamental in terms of, I know how to run a sort of club like this. And then from there, once we get moving from there, next season, let's see what happens. Like, I don't feel like he's going to be judged heavily on this season, but he knows top 4 has to be done. Has to be done. Not when you've got Liverpool in free fall. Not when you've got Everton that can be up one day, down 1 minute. Not when you've got Leicester who have injuries and ultimately like they do have that thing that they can potentially. They let us get into top 4 last year. He knows he has to do it. I feel like the type of person he is as well. Like, because Chelsea fans have been coming out and saying, I love the way he talks. He is talking about winning every game. I want to win every game. So we can't say that he's doing great and saying all of these great things, then we don't want him to do top 4. He has to.
Yeah.
This is Chelsea. This isn't Arsenal. This is this is us, bro. Like he has to.
Love that. You see what I'm saying? And you know what? Yeah, you're right. Because the way that he speaks, is
energy still.
Expectations that he projects is what I now expect. You see what I'm saying? I can't celebrate with something that we was expected to get. I can't even celebrate with top 4 anyway, because that's not a trophy to me. You see what I'm saying? Even last season when we got it, I said, well done, boys. I clapped my hands, cool. But that was never a celebration. That's not something that I dream for. You see what I'm saying? But this situation here, this is more than doable. And I look at Liverpool, I don't feel like things are going to get any better for them. I feel like there's too many factors and circumstances playing at hand. Obviously, RIP Klopp's mum, you see what I'm saying? For me, I feel like he should be taking a break out of football until the end of the season, bare minimum anyway, and they should get an assistant to take charge. West Ham, and for me, I can't take them serious. I can't. I know they're up there. I know they're looking good and pretty and whatnot, but it can't be something that lasts. Leicester always. I love Leicester, but they always seem to drop off, as you said. They did it last season. Nobody wanted top 4. Let's be real, last season. Everyone was just trying to give it away. I said, top 4 is available. They're giving it to charity. You see what I'm saying? No one really wanted it. And this season, I want Chelsea to be the team that take advantage of people's slip-ups. Not the team that, is just enjoying the ride.
Going through the emotions,
yeah. Going through the emotions.
Let's make it even so easier.
Yeah.
Like, if I list through the teams, are City playing their best football? Yes. Who's next? Are Leicester playing their best football? Can they play any better? I don't think so. I think they're playing really obviously some of the games have been shaky, but they're playing to their capacity. Who else have you got? United are weird. Like United will say that they haven't got coaching, but in terms of Bruno and everything, they're playing to their capacity. Villa playing to their capacity. Everton, Chelsea are still not playing well. Like, remember what you said, the forwards are not eating. The only attacking player that has scored so far is who? Mount. We are still not playing well. There's so much capacity left in this team. There's so much. Havertz is a project buyer, but he could come in this in terms of he could come in and start firing. Like, there's so much left in the tank that we may not even get, but there's still so much more. And that's why I can't look at this and be like, top 4, maybe it has to happen. Like, even in that Barnsley game, we didn't play well. We got the points. There's so much more that can come from this team here that we have to do it. Someone said, Chelsea have easy fixtures because that's how the fixtures.
There's no easy fixture in the Prem, man. I'm not hearing that, man. I'm not hearing that because we've seen man get whacked this season from teams that you never expected. But I hear what you're saying, man. Like we need. we've got more in the tank, and the expectations may not be too much on him. But I'm just saying, for your own heart, innit? I'm at a point where I'm not trying to go through like, you know, last season, yeah, when we was just like, you'll see man drop points and you'll be like, yeah, this is the time we're gonna capitalize, and then we'll just draw or lose.
Yeah, last season
I'm not doing that anymore. Man, we was not on smoke. We was just getting mad luck sometimes, yeah. And I'm not like, fair enough. I rate Tuchel more because like we said, like he talks a mean game. We can see that he's got tactics. He's got the history behind him. But at the same time, I just got to see it to believe it, man. Game by game, even the way we're playing, like you said, we're not really touching the levels that we think we can touch. With the way he's playing, like you can see that there's still room for improvement. So that's why I'm saying, just guard your heart a little bit, man, because it could still go out of the way.
I'm glad you said that. So let me clarify. With me, yeah, I will always have an expectation of this club because I know what this club is, and that's why when people try and compare situations to other clubs, I'm like, your club isn't Chelsea. You don't have Roman Abramovich. You don't have that mentality where it's do or die, and we have to be achieving. If we're being real here, yeah, with the way Liverpool are and the way they structured and everything, next year, if one City win the title, Chelsea are the team that have to step up and take that challenge to them. That's how really it is. It's not Liverpool. It's not any other team. It's because of how this club's run. So I always have that expectation of that's what we should be doing. Even at the beginning of the season, I said, listen, even if we're not winning the title, we should be in a situation where we should be close enough or making some sort of noise. And that's why I think all of our fans were angry when we fell so short. What I didn't agree with was when Tuchel came in, everyone was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's like, no, because this is kind of what we should be doing. This isn't amazing. We haven't seen amazing for a long time. I don't know when we'll see amazing again, but we should be definitely working towards that. We should be working to City as the standard bearer, and that's what we should be closing in or working towards. We should be working towards being in the situation where we can go on 10, 15 game winning streaks, or we can beat teams before they even turn up because they look at us and go, oh, they're too good. That's where we should be going. And right now, what you said is consistency. Right now, have we got consistent form? Somewhat, because we're winning the games. Are we having consistent shape? Yeah, because he has an identity. What we have to do now is make sure that we continue doing this, but building upon it. Doing what Frank Lampard did, which was building on that foundation. Remember when he had that run where everyone was like, oh God, we haven't lost in 20 games? He didn't build on it. We didn't beat any big teams. We didn't, if develop a style. We just kind of teetered along and nothing happened from it. Like, Chelsea should always be here. We should always be pushing for more. And that's why, like, sometimes I get in trouble with fans because it's like, I'm not content with these small things. We're not a small club. Like, it hurts me. Like, this is Chelsea, man. Like, so yeah, the Newcastle game, you mentioned that they've been a bogey team. They're a team where like, I've got a lot of time for Steve Bruce. He can be a dinosaur, but I mean, ever since they brought in these championship coaches, they seem to play a bit of football now. St. Maximum's back. Almiron's looking at Santiago. Like, they've got a bit of restoration in them. So we have to make sure that we do what Chelsea do, which is, and I'm still yet to see it from this team so far, finish the game off early. Finish the game off early. Finish it off early.
Before I get into Newcastle, right? For the people that were saying our fixtures are easy, our last 4 fixtures is Man City at home away, Arsenal at home, Leicester at home, and Aston Villa away. Those are the last 4 fixtures. Yeah, and then obviously there's a patch obviously coming up with Man United, Southampton, Atletico Madrid, and Everton, and Leeds away. Right? Yeah, Leeds away as well. So it's about to get, as they say, squeaky bum time. Do you see what I'm saying? That's upcoming. But just to further on your point before we stick it on Newcastle, I'm very much of a believer that if Tuchel's going to have the second season that he needs, this season is pivotal for foundation, and the foundation is Champions League, because we're coming into a pandemic market and we want to take advantage again. We thought we took advantage last season. We can really take advantage this season again now. You know what I'm saying? Half of our signings from last season haven't kicked into gear yet. Fair enough. Give them the second season. But if we're talking about, Haaland, we're talking about all these dons, this has to be Champions League football, because otherwise they're not coming. You can't take advantage of the likes of, French football. They're having financial issues. You've got pure teams in La Liga struggling as well. Dortmund might not even secure Champions League football if we're talking about Haaland and Sancho and all these guys. I'm not saying you can take everyone, but you can definitely take a big slice of the pie. Do you see what I'm saying? We've got money. That's one thing that we don't lack. And if Roman sees Champions League football and he sees revenue and fans are coming back into the ground, he might just go, yo, I'm going double or nothing. Do you know what I'm saying? That might just be his mentality to try and win the league next season. Of course, Newcastle, they're in a bit up and down form, as you said. 2 wins from the last 4, I think. I don't get them. Someone explained to me what this team is about, because they're managed by Steve Bruce, who I just associate with 90s, 80s, you know what I'm saying, negative Brexit type football. But at the same time, they have a couple flair players, like you said. They have picked up a couple wins. I think they beat Everton away. They also won 3-2 against Southampton with 10 men, which is exciting as well. So I can't really put my finger on these, man, because I'm expecting another low block. I'm expecting another negative team to come up against us where we have to break them down. That's really all we faced in the first 5 games for Tuchel. Actually, the most progressive and attacking team we faced was I would say maybe Barnsley, To
be fair, Barnsley balled.
Yeah, to be fair. I would say Barnsley. The team from the lower division in the Championship held us up against our necks on the wall. You see what I'm saying? They pressed us. Every single time they lost the ball, they actually pushed the line up to the halfway line. They were sticking it on us. Everybody else, not really too much. I mean, how confident are you for Newcastle, Sam? Starting with you, bro.
I'm trying to be confident in it. Like we've the thing is, no, you know what it is, yeah. Like I am scarred, because every time I go into a game and I'm like, okay, cool, we're gonna get the dub. And even in the last few games, we always have that period at the end of the game where we just can't see it out. And that period is something that if we change that, if we can be clinical in the first half, have a few chances and finish those chances, even if they're onto us in the second half, which most teams are, yeah, I wouldn't mind. But it's the fact that we always have that period, and it just brings me back to the period before Tuchel, where the goals were just going in and you're just like, oh, how did that happen? We started the game so well and all of these things. So like, and Newcastle, the history with Chelsea isn't great. Like, I still have flashbacks of that Judge goal that man scored, yeah, that defies the laws of physics, bro. Like,
oh yeah,
a man actually scored the maddest. He's scored the maddest goal against us that I've ever seen in it. Like, so if a man are scoring that those type of goals against us, yeah, anything is possible. But to be honest, I think we should get the dub. I think the team now, like Mayowa said, yeah, if we can build on what we've done, then we should get the win in it. The only thing is with Newcastle, we don't know what Newcastle we're gonna get, because there was a period in the season where we were saying, like, everyone was saying, who are Newcastle? They're nothing club. Like, they just go through games and it's just like, okay, they've lost that and then it's just game over. Steve Bruce is looking angry on the sideline all the time and that. But then you can see that they've got those players. They've got St. Maximin. They've got Wilson that can bag a goal out of nowhere. They've got they brought Willokin, who's got an engine that
someone said Wilson might not be available, actually.
Wilson's not available.
I think he's injured, in it.
Wilson's
not available.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't think he is.
Now we have to secure the bag.
yeah, because if Joe Linton bags against us, bro, do you know what that? you know what that guy? You know who that guy is like. We can't let Joe Linton bag against us. But like I said, they've still got a few players. They brought Willokin. He's an engine in their midfield that is kind of bringing a different dynamic. He kind of accommodates Shelby as well. But we should. This should be a game that we walk into, get the dub, talk about how good our team was. Werner bagged the brace. Finally, like, you know, them ones that things are starting to click. That should be the post-match conversation we're having. I don't want to hear none of this. What Newcastle came out today and all of that. Nah, I don't need any of that.
Not trying to see no drama, no surprises.
No,
nothing,
man.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Mayowa, I'm guessing you're confident, bro.
It is. I just want our team to perform like how our team should. You get me? Like, Newcastle are 17th, and like you said, or one of you mentioned, there's no easy game in the Premier League. However, you have to take your opportunities. Like, Wilson's got 10 goals this season. He's playing. Ultimately, that Newcastle is already thinking, we haven't got talisman. Crap, this is going to be a long day. We have to make sure that there's no hope. Like, St. Maximum is bright, but he's been coming back for injury and everything. Almiron's been bright. Like, Newcastle for a lot of the season, I feel like one of the issues when I've watched them is before they kind of got these new coaches in and they started going on this form, they kind of lacked identity. I remember there was one game they played like 4 attacking mids in midfield because they had injuries. the back four is always a bit loose. And then they've always had changes in their back four as well. I think Lascelles might not even play as well, which is, again, another big miss for them. But the key thing for me here is they're going to play at low block. And with the Barnsley game, I feel like one thing we didn't do in that game, even though it wasn't low block, is we didn't progress the ball quick enough, maybe because they were pressing us. We've done it better with Tuchel in general. Like, we're playing forward passes, we're trying to get in the holes. But the issue we have is we need to be able to break this down. We need to be able to pop through. It needs to be innovative. We need to have a bit of magic. And that's where this, for me, is a key game in terms of, okay, who can show a bit of a bright moment of imagination to break down this? You mentioned Hazard, and that's one of the things. When you have a player like that in the Premier League in your team, anything can happen because he can run through 3 players and it's like, oh my gosh, amazing. You might have been trying to pass for 60 minutes, nothing happens. Hazard moment of magic. We don't necessarily have that type of magic anymore, but we do have players that can create. We have Hudson-Odoi who's thriving. Like, this is every Chelsea fan has known that this guy has ability, that he just needs to have a good run of games and show it. He can provide moments where he creates. We've got, in terms of the way we play, we've got people that can run off the ball. I don't know if one is going to find much space, especially in that stadium, but he's shown that even when it's low blocks, he can find a bit of space. He just can't hit a barn door at the moment. We've got deliveries from the wing-back positions. We've got centre-backs that can move forward. It's so funny because, like, Tuchel's getting praised for this. But this is what Wilder was doing with Sheffield, with the centre-backs going. It's Wilder that was doing that. So, that, again, that's why I don't give too much praise to it, because we've seen it. But it's like fair play. We're trying stuff. In the middle, Jorginho, do you remember when Jorginho did that goal for time where he played the ball through and everything? We've got ways of unlocking teams. It's just about what combination can work. How do we pull it off?
Being brave, man.
Being brave and making sure, can we just get those 2 goals in the first half and know that the tie is done? Like, that's the one thing I'm not seeing with this team so far. We've never gone into half-time and thought, you know what? Yeah, game done. Even the Spurs game, like, when we were, like, you know, doing everything, the game wasn't done, like, until the final whistle. And it's like, we need to get into that habit of getting the game done with. Like, 2 goals against a team that's 17th. That's it. It's done. They're not going to want, they'll be like, you know what, let's conserve energy. We've got probably Sheffield United next week. Let's wait for that. We need to get into the habit of killing teams off.
This is why he's being a bit pragmatic at times in these games. People are giving him stick for it. But if none of your strikers are firing and they're all firing blanks, then what are you meant to do? You have to be pragmatic. You have to tie up the shit, because otherwise you're just going to end up conceding, and you can't rely on these strikers to kill off games, as you said. One thing that I find interesting is that for all the creative players that we have, there's certain men that are not with us right now. Ziyech, Pulisic, these brothers are not with us right now. The way that they performed against Barnsley was nuts. It was nuts.
It was nuts. It was actually nuts.
Like, I can't describe. I can't push just how nuts it was. Pulisic went missing. Didn't see the brother. When he came off, I only just clocked he was still on the pitch, and that was in and out of me passing out because the game was so peak. And then on top of that, Ziyech, I've never seen a brother give the ball away so much. It's like as if he didn't want it. It's just like giving it back. I was like, is this an imposter among us? He's playing against us. What's going on? I mean, we got a chat here before we get into who'd pick on our lineup. Thoughts on Hakim Ziyech rumours. I don't know how concrete they are, but there's a few rumours about potentially he's not happy that he's not playing games, or he's a bit unsettled, or he might look to leave in the summer if he doesn't get more game time. This brother's in his first season. Yeah. What have you made of him? Because when he came in, everyone was telling me world-class winger, you know, one of the top 10 playmakers on the globe, and Champions League form with Ajax and all these things. We've seen Van der Beek now go to Man United. We've seen Van der Beek go to Man United, can't get a game. We've seen, again, a slowness to him in terms of adapting to the Premier League. Now, we've seen it with Ziyech as well. I always give a man a first season, but I don't expect rumours to be coming out. What have you guys made of Ziyech just so far, and how highly do you rate him? Because I feel like the fan base at times, they're building him up to be this Wizard of London, where really he's just a very good player on his day, but he has to have that day. When he doesn't have that day, it's peak.
Do you know what the issue is? With someone like Ziyech, there's for me, there's 2 schools of thought on this. I don't know who started this sort of conversation around it, big you up, because I like to give credit and stuff. But someone was saying that if you're that good, you don't stay around in the Dutch league for that long. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Which is kind of true, because if you look at any sort of sick player in that league, they leave in the 23 or whatnot, or they leave at like when they've had a peak moment. Even someone like Davinson Sanchez, like when he had that run with Ajax, like everyone looked at him and was like, oh my gosh, sick, let's get in now. That's typically what happened. He left pretty late, which for some people raises alarm bells, but I like to look at how a player performs and their ability. What he has, right, is he has the ability with his passing and his range of passing that is really cold. What happens in his detriment is he's not a traditional winger. So he's not going to beat his man. And he's not like, you know how Hudson-Odoi, in terms of there's a bit of movement there and something. The way Ziyech is, it's very on the ball. Like, I'm not going to get him to move in space, then move. He pops it about. He actually can play really well in the middle as a cam. But for some weird reason in his career, he ended up kind of being this sort of creative from the right side, kind of cross-field passes, through balls and everything. The issue what he's got now is, I remember when it was with Lampard and it was the 4-3-3, and I was thinking, you know what, when he comes into that sort of space there, it's going to be amazing. With this sort of formation, we need goal scorers. We need creators, but we need goal scorers as well. I don't know how much goals he's going to get in behind the man. I don't think he can play wing back. So it's like, where does he fit in? And I think he's probably thinking, if these rumors are coming out, he's probably thinking, where do I fit? Like, I was going to be like the main guy, the main creator here, but I don't know where I fit in. But even to the bigger point, that is the biggest issue with this Chelsea team right now. There is not a main guy. Bruno is the main guy at United. Right now at City, Gundogan is the main guy. Like, there's a couple main guys. We don't have one guy that you can say, you know what, because you're the main guy, I'm building around you, and no one's stepping up to that mantle either.
But at a point,
Hazard was the guy. So, like, you play to Hazard. We don't have anyone that we can play to. So, therefore, it makes everyone's sort of situation a little bit like, well, I'm not going to make it work around you. I'm just going to make it work for everyone. And if it doesn't work for you, then, boy.
But at a point, Ziyech was one of our main creative outlets. Like, when Lampard was going through that good period, Ziyech was thriving. That's where all that wizardry stuff came from. But now he's having a bad patch. He had a bad patch since he came back from injury. Everyone's looking at him sideways, and we got to remember, like, if you're coming to the Premier League for the first time, coming from the Dutch league to the Premier League, you've had a good patch, you get injured, your manager changes, you come back from injury, and then the new manager's changed everything. You was literally just trying to adapt to an old manager. You come back in, he's telling you how to play differently. You're still adapting to everything. The Premier League is the hardest league in the world, and we all know that. You can't really compare his situation to everyone else, because, like you said, if you look at Ziyech, you can see that the guy is a baller. You can see where his strengths lie. You can see where his weaknesses lies as well. If he's the type of player, I saw in one interview, he said that the Premier League Chelsea fans haven't seen the real Ziyech yet. He hasn't even touched the surface yet. And I believe that, because even when he had that good period, we could see he was getting assists and he was scoring goals, but he was in and out of games a lot. Like, do you get what I'm saying? But with all these rumors, I'm hoping that he's not having this bad patch and he's thinking, you know what, I'm not made for this. Like, I prefer to see man with ability like that say, okay, cool, you're trying to say that I'm not levels, I'm gonna work through it, even if that means me on and off the bench, because at the end of the day, you're at the best team in London, you're at the best team, you're at the best league in the world, and you're playing with ballers. Werner's not bagged for how many games, bro? But you can see him hungry. He's not letting that get him down, because he knows his ability. He knows he's going through a rough patch. That's the type of players that we want to see. Even if you come on for the last 20 minutes, give us your all, bro. Like, show us something. Like, even when he started against Barnsley, fair enough, it wasn't working, and he's probably not going to start against Newcastle. He'll probably be on the bench here. But when you come on, show us something. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like it's your first season. Fans that, like, even football, if we take all the agendas out of it, we know first season it's either hit or miss. If you hit, it's great. If it's missed, we can understand, because you have to adapt to the league. Next season, that's when you really get judged. So if you're gonna buy into all these rumors, or if he's gonna cut out, then maybe he's just not made for it, man.
Do you know what's interesting as well? I feel like he's a lot more versatile than we've seen, because I feel like we have been maybe over relying on his party trick, which is get the ball out right hand side, whip it in with your cross. And I'm like, cool, that works, and he's very good at it, but it's not every day you have to do that. He has other things in his locker. I haven't seen any long shots from him, obviously, when he was... I'm talking about when he was fit and firing. I haven't seen any long shots from him. I haven't seen him take up those central zones and try and take that little, that little through ball through the lines in terms of that. I think he played it in a cup game for Hudson-Odoi and he got onto the end of it. But that's the only time I've seen it. And I'm just like, we're almost making this guy look even more one-dimensional than it needs to be. He can do other things. I'm hoping Tuchel gets a bit more out of him in terms of just showing his versatility, because he's a player that can play a number of positions. He's a player
and freedom as well.
Yeah, he's creative. Do you know what I'm saying? He is the guy, very much in a different way to Bruno, but he is the guy that will attempt a lot of those final third passes. They're not all going to come off, but he is the risk taker in the team. And also, 100%, we have no one to rely on. 100%. There's no one in this team that stands out as the go-to guy, as the main man. But I kind of don't mind that too much, as long as someone always picks up the responsibility, because I don't want the team to be lopsided. I don't want the team to just be relying on one man. And if that man gets injured, we're screwed. I do like a bit more balance in the attack. But if no one's turning up, then it looks peak, which is what's happening at the moment. I want to get into, obviously, the teams that we're going to pick as well. It's going to be interesting as well. I mean, Pulisic is the other guy as well that we mentioned. I mean, I don't know, man. He's just having a really poor season. I don't like to go off goals and assists all the time, but when you're playing the position he does, it does contribute. So I'm saying you do need to be racking them up. Most top teams that go for honours have forwards in the front three that rack up those statistics. And when you're not doing it, there's no surprise as to why we're down the league. It's obviously because the forwards are not taking the chances. Because the defence has been pretty tidy this season, in my opinion. Even since Tuchel's arrived, 1 goal conceded. Rudiger's own goal was the only one. So well, the brother was just like, do you know what? Yeah.
Nah, he was so lost when that went. He didn't even know where to look.
Yeah, exactly. It was one of them ones where he was just like, do you know what? We haven't conceded in a while. We need to help these brothers out. You know what I'm saying? No one's even having shots against us. Let me just do my community service. But on a real, Pulisic is a different one where I know his ability. It's not like Ziyech where I'm still seeing what he can handle in the Premier League, what he can do. I know Pulisic what he can do, but he's just, his decision making and his form is so peak right now, and obviously his injury record. Mao, I'll start with you, bro. What do you make of Pulisic? Because it's been poor this season, man.
For me, Pulisic is a curious case of coaching and a good preseason needed. I feel like this is a player, right, who kind of, if you look at sort of his career, has shown potential, has shown that he has ability, but I still feel in order for him to sort of make that ability come to something, he needs to be coached. He needs to be coached into becoming a certain type of player. So, for instance, the example I give is, I know that Callum Hudson-Odoi as a wing player is a creative. There's no point trying to change him into this man that's going to beat a man and try and do all of this stuff, because that's not what he thrives in. Like, if you want to go by stats, you can look at it in terms of creative. He's up there. Like, if you want to see his influence in the team, you can see it. What Pulisic is blessed with is the ability to dribble. However, if you're not coached into what to do with that dribbling, it just becomes sort of your ability on the pitch. I've always felt like he lacks aggression in the way he played as well. And the way I back it up is when he was getting those goals, where I think it was 7 goals and everything, he was running at man. He was running into the box to get onto the top of things. Like, not like aggression about going up and trying to punch someone. Like, there was an intent into what he wanted to do. I don't know whether that came because of instruction or just because of how he found himself in certain positions. But that hat-trick against Burnley was a prime example of, I have intent. I think it was the FA Cup game against Arsenal. I'm going into the box with intent. It's not just about running around like your pack with your ability. And that's where I feel if you're coached properly, you can do that. He's in a unique situation where he's still young as well. You've got a manager that really likes you and everything as well. And he's going to find himself playing different positions. He's going to play false nine for us. He's going to be in behind the striker for us. Like, I feel if he's coached and he takes on the right advice and everything, there is a player there. At the same time, the injury record, he has to do some strength and conditioning as well. Like, we know about that. But like, there is, because he's so young, there's still time for him. Like, I feel like he's a good player. I just feel like in order for him to achieve, he needs a certain level of coach, and especially within seasons like this, it is so difficult. You're playing games every single 3 days. Tell you what, I'll give you this one. Maddison came out and he was like, listen, a pundit, I think it was Carragher, said I need to get more goals. I sat down with Brendan Rodgers and we said, you know what, I'm going to occupy these half spaces. We've always known that Maddison has the ability, right? We've always known that he needs to do a bit more. Yeah. With that little bit of coaching and different instructions, we're seeing the evolution of a player. For me, I need to see Pulisic go from the dribbler to being the potent forward who can either create more or offer more. Even if it's like the ball's coming into the box, he's coming in, he's getting tap-ins, or he's doing the Werner trick where you get down the line and pass it. I just need to see a bit more just apart from your ability. Because this isn't Vulture. It's not FIFA Street. Like, it's not enough. Like, if you can dribble and lay it off to someone, great. But that is the evolution of the player that I'm looking for. I don't think he's a bad player at all. I think he's class. I don't think you invest in a player like that if you don't feel like the years to come they're going to give you something. So we'll see. And I guess the great thing, you know how we've mentioned that we don't have one star man. Everyone has to fight for their shirt now, which I actually love. Yeah. No one's shirt is safe. Well, Mason Mount, you can argue. Thiago Silva, when he's fit, you can argue. Hudson-Odoi, you can argue. Apart from that, no one else can say that, you know what, my shirt or my number is definitely there. I have to earn it. And that will either make some people or break some people. So let's hope it makes him.
But this is what this football club's all about. It's always been about competition for places. You know, even Lampard never really had it easy. Ballack came in, all these brothers came in. If he took focus off 1 minute, he would have been screwed. So it's an interesting one. I mean, with Pulisic and Ziyech as well, I think you guys have both made great points, and obviously I'm going to get Sam's point on Pulisic as well. You made great points in both of their defence that I think is important for the fan base. One, the injuries as well that you spoke about with Ziyech is the fact that he's not been consistently, you know, in the team. He's not like as if he's had one manager as well to deal with. And obviously it's a bunch of new. How many players have we signed? 7 new first teamers. It's a whole heap of new players to get used to as well. That also don't really understand each other as well. And are still getting used to each other. So it's not like as if he's the only signing. He's come into a set system that are playing patterns of play and whatnot, like he was at Ajax, where they've probably all grown up together for a good 3 or 4 years, but before you started seeing the best out of everyone. And obviously an inexperienced coach as well, which doesn't help when you're trying to learn the game as well. And for Pulisic is the same. I think Pulisic, we saw big signs of him last season about what you're talking about, the decision making, the final third end product to the dribbling. The back end of last season after that lockdown, we saw nothing but intent from Pulisic. But now we need to see it on a consistent basis. So that's the point. Sam, what do you feel about Pulisic?
I feel like I'm the same as Mayowa, to be honest, because it's like with the coaching stuff, yeah. A lot of we have to remember a lot of these players are young. The team that Lampard had at the beginning of the season, our front line, I think the average age was like 24, 25. Like, do you get what I'm saying? These players need to be told what to do. Like, you can't just leave these young G's in the front three and just let them wander. Do you get what I'm saying? You have to tell them patterns. You have to tell them when you get the ball here, if you drive here and you get nothing, you come back. If you drive here and you get through, you pass it through the middle or something like that. Yeah. Havertz, we know he's a baller. He hasn't been looking great. Werner, we know he's a baller. Cho is the only one that has really shown signs of being consistent. But I think that's more down to the fact that even though he's young, he's actually had a few seasons in the Premier League, in and out of the team. Do you get what I'm saying? But now Tuchel's in here, someone that is actually familiar with Pulisic, his strengths, his weaknesses. I think we will see the best out of Pulisic, but the injuries thing it is worrying, because the period where we actually saw him coming to his best, he got injured. Yeah. That is hard to have, like, to get through as a player. Like, we forget the mental side of it as well. Like, you're actually balling. You know your team needs you. He was our best creative outlet at the time. Everyone's comparing him to Hazard, to pictures next to each other, all of this stuff. And then he gets injured. Do you get what I'm saying? And then he has to come back. Then he has to fight for his place again. So all of these things are hard for a young footballer to take as well. So we have to consider these things. And I think with the way football and fans are going now, yeah, I genuinely think that these players are more on socials than they like to make out. And a lot of the stuff that you see, if you type in man's name, it is negative. Like all of the Chelsea forwards, they've just been getting buoyed by everyone because of the fact that we know where they can be and what we think they should be doing right now. And obviously, because they haven't been doing that, they're just getting buoyed by everyone. But it's like, I think with Tuchel now, it's like, trust in my system and you will thrive. Like, and I think that's what he's trying to get through to the players. When he first came in, he had an individual conversation with everyone. Like, obviously, you're going to do that at the beginning of of any tenure, but at the same time, I honestly think that he told all of these boarders, like, man, I believe in you. Like, telling you, like, you've done this and you can do it again, type of thing. And if it all goes well, we're going to have a rotation of forwards that are just all going to be able to, okay, against this game, like Newcastle, we know that they're going to have a low block here. So we're going to need a player like Pulisic to come in and dribble and try and find that space. That's the type of thing that I think he can get to. And I still believe him, man. Like, I don't think that he's past it, or it's too late to say because of the injuries. Man is young. Like, you get what I'm saying? And this season has been an anomaly. 2 different managers as well. So yeah, man, just give him time. Like, give these young players time, man. Don't try and be onto guys too much. Obviously, we all get angry as fans. We all scream at fans. I've been onto Werner for not bagging, but at the same time, if I see effort, if I see you trying, and if we're not losing, then I'll give you the time you need, because you're young, man.
100%. I think if Man United fans can still give time to Martial, you know what I'm saying, 6 years in the Prem or something, 25 years old, Ballon d'Or in the contract, all of these. If they can still give him time, then who are we to judge Pulisic? You know what I'm saying? We have to definitely be able to calm down on that front. Let me see here. In terms of the lineup, everyone's saying So the lineup, people, I mean, starting in goal, Mendy. For me, it's Mendy. Kepa obviously did a madness against Barnsley. He had a good game. Is anybody gonna do a madness and stick him into the team? Just not.
I've seen enough, man. It's it's fine.
Reckless like that.
I'm here for this. I'm here for this Kepa switch up. Don't get into it. Like, I'm here for him doing well. Yeah. But I need all the games that you get in the cup competitions. I need consistency for me to be able to say, when Mendy may be injured, I'll believe in you. But I've seen enough madness to know that I just can't do that to myself anymore, innit? So Mendy has to go there still.
Them reports that came out as well on Kepa in terms of like a player that is going to be given a second chance and he's going to be reintegrated into the team. I feel like that's just Marina being stubborn because she wants her piece. But I don't know. For me, I don't need to see any more. I don't know about you, Mayowa, but when you're talking about standards and all these things, I'm guessing no. You with
the Kepa one, we went out on a limb, like, for Chelsea to spend that much on the goalkeeper. That means that they must have thought they were sure. Like, they must have really believed. And I think I've tweeted a few times, like, Bilbao only signed players from that region, innit? So you're giving a club 70 odd million. So you're giving that to
70 mil. Oh my God.
Players from that region.
But you're only just remembering the price.
Sometimes it just I just deep it, like, you know how much that is.
And you know what? It's 70 mil up front. No installments, nothing.
Nothing. None of the Pepe hat. Like, we must have really thought, you know what, this was the one. And you know what? Some fair play for trying to be ahead of the curve, but that one was the L, and we're not going to make any profit off of him eventually. That nothing that stuff's going to happen. But listen, you live and you learn. That is potentially one of the worst transfers ever for a goalkeeper. I don't even want to know what wages he's on if that's how much we paid for him.
Boy.
It's bad.
Yeah,
it's peak. And it's a 7-year contract as well.
7-year contract.
He got 7 years.
Like, do you, like that? Is that even heard of in football for goalkeepers to get 7 years, bro? Like, what? Like Bilbao, the way they manufactured that contract.
Like Alan Pardew and them, man.
The man that just be getting them lifetime contracts. Like say this is NFL fan. What the heck? 7 years.
We have to take the L on that one, but Mendy in goal. Hold tight, Kepa, but
Mendy 100%.
But we need one thing. As a fan base, we need to stop gassing this Cruyff turn that Mendy's doing. Yeah, because it worked. It's not giving me confidence. It's not like wow. Like, it scares me. So just get out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My heart is all over the place when that brother touches the ball. I can't lie. It's not that he's not doing it well. It just doesn't look natural to him. It looks like it's like he's really got to try, and that makes me worried because when he puts his foot on the ball, I mean, his pass completion has not been bad. He's been spraying it about a bit, clipping it over the top and whatnot. It's been good. But when he starts doing these Cruyff turns in the box when we're away to Tottenham and I've just finished battling with people online and you're trying to see if we can take away points from the... No. You need to just... Sometimes, this is what I miss about Petr Cech and I miss about the old day of football, yeah? The old days. Just lace it, bro. Just lace it.
Listen, a goalkeeper's highlight reel should be saves, jumping through people to get the ball, and the occasional ping. I don't want to see Cruyff turns.
Real talk, man.
The side pass, the sidewinder. I don't mind a few of those, but I don't want to see you're not Big G. I don't need to see that. I don't need to see the rest of the stuff. I want that.
Man, never saying he'll be trying rainbow flicks next. Farad said, "Don't fall for Kepa's old tricks." Spot on. You know what I'm saying? We'll go to left wing back. Oh, are we playing a back three? Let's get that out of the way. I mean, for me, I am just because. I want him to, not that, I know he's a flexible coach. I know he's going to try different things, but I also want him to stick with what he's got against the similar opposition. Like I said, we've been coming up against low blocks, so I don't see any reason to change from three at the back.
Yeah, I don't mind the three at the back, but I'm going to be honest. I don't want it to be in our future. Like, that's just me. Like, I don't mind the three at the back. I think it's a very safe formation to have to come into a team, which is fair enough. Like you have enough cover in all the areas. We've got more than enough players to utilize that formation. But at the same time, I just don't like three at the back. Like really? It might be, I just don't. There's something about it, that makes me feel like we're wasting a player on another centre back. Like, and I feel like if we've got the players to be able to have a 4-3-3, a 4-2-3-1, where we can have an actual another centre mid or another forward in play. When we have three centre backs, it's just like, obviously it makes sense with everything that's going on, but at the same time, I think we're just have you looked at our bench in the last few games, the players that are sitting out, like we can, if we changed up the formation a little bit and added a Ziyech, giving him maybe more of a free role for him to actually thrive. That could be something crazy. And also the fact that we've actually not scored that many goals. Like we're saying, we haven't seen out that many games as well. So if that continues, if we're scraping these games continuously, he's like, please, switch it up.
Right now, I think he just wants results. I mean, it's interesting because we won a league title with three at the back at the end of the day.
But then everyone got used to it. Then everyone found out how to play against it, and then it's just like, okay, cool. What happens next?
I still think I think he's using it as like you said, he's come in, he needs to kind of get players playing, and I think I mentioned it last time, Matisse, in terms of I feel like he's still carrying out an audit of this team in terms of, okay, are you up to the standard or not? Can you do this? Can you do that? I mean, we saw Billy Gilmore playing the midfield midweek. That's another part of the audit. We've seen Chilwell come in. We've seen players playing different positions as well. I think that's a key thing as well. Like Hudson-Odoi, he has played further up. He's played wing back. We've seen Reece James play wing back and right back. He's trying to see, how can I flex with this team? Because when I start doing my madness, which is changing formations during the game next season, and we have longer time to coach, I need to see he can do it under pressure now. So I feel like it will be a three at the back, but I feel like he will work it in a way that, because Newcastle don't have that striking threat and everything, he'll work it in a way that it's going to be ultra attacking. Like if they can't do anything to us, we can, and that makes me feel like you probably have like your Hudson-Odoi and your Alonso sort of combination, because those are the guys that are going to be really sort of offering something going forward. Alonso scored a goal already. Hudson-Odoi can create. So I feel like he's going to go with it off that basis and almost have your three centre backs as just your defenders straight off. If we can't break this down, then I'm going to keep sending Hudson-Odoi and Alonso to kind of do something. So I do get what you're saying. Like when you're playing football, it just seems counterproductive.
Oh, I hate playing in that.
I can understand it as well, because you're saying bring Ziyech in, which is not a bad idea. You can have Havertz in, which is not a bad idea. But if these players are not sort of up to it, a midfield free of Kante, Kovacic, and Jorginho, like I said last time, the XG vitality there, there's not enough nutrients in it. Like they're not going to get. I remember when I used to get gassed because I was seeing this evolution of Kante, and like I wouldn't say
undernourished.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was fooled yet, but I was saying that because of how it was like utilized, it was like Kante might be able to get like 6 goals in the season. That's not what you need Kante for. You don't need it. Like, you can't force people to do things. Same thing with Kovacic. I feel like he's a player that can do more.
Traditional CM still.
You can't force him to come and be this like 7 goals a season midfielder. Like operate. If he operates with the 3 at the back, I'm not mad at it, especially when you've got like someone like Reece James that can play at the back and go forward.
Yeah,
like you don't want him forward. So it's all right. It's not the end of the world. And I mean, like Thiago Silva's good on the ball. Christensen is trying to take up that mantle now. You still get something from there, so not too bad. But yeah, I'll go for it at the back for this game.
Yeah, I think as well the key is that Chelsea for the last few years have always been trying to compensate the team for their defense, whether because of the lack of quality in the defense, whether it's the 3 in the midfield that you just spoke about under Sarri, whether it's now playing 3 at the back because we don't have really great individual 1v1 defenders in all aspects, in terms of we don't have a Terry Carvalho lineup, we don't have this Gary Cahill, we don't have these level defenders. So now we're trying to cover them for their weaknesses, and really it's only really Thiago Silva in that defense that is really up to the world-class level that it needs to be, because when he's in that team, everybody around him improves. It's very much a John Terry type influence. I look at that 3 at the back and I think to myself, it's not as negative as it was, because Hudson-Odoi is playing on that wing-back role sometimes. And you can, if Chilwell was in form, and this is the super chat here, Chilwell is scared of Alonso's competition. If Chilwell was in form and he's playing left wing-back, because he does like to get forward like we saw at Leicester, then you could mould it into a situation where, cool, it might start as a 3 at the back, but Chilwell can slot back and then suddenly it's a back 4. But because we don't have certain players in form and he needs results, and it's a results business for him, I think he's going with who he can get the best out of right now. And unfortunately, a lot of the creative players that we want to see are just not up to it at the moment. So he's not going to risk it, which I understand, because we need points. But I am interested to see if we do stick with this and we bring in ball playing centre backs. And we've been linked with a truckload. But if we bring in ball playing centre backs into this team, and the creators are now the centre backs, it could be very attacking at some point. But we'll start with the back 3. I'm going to go... First of all, who's available from? Because these press conferences, they're no help to nobody.
Yeah, they don't like giving away things questions.
Thiago's definitely out. Apart from that, I think everyone's available. I think Werner has the dead leg that he's probably over. Havertz is
missing.
Yeah, potentially in, potentially not. So, and I feel Zuma's over that sort of knock he had. So, in terms of defenders, it's just Thiago Silva out.
Yeah, I would probably go with Christensen, Aspilicueta, and Rudiger, just not to change things up too much. I know Zuma came back into the fold. I do rate Zuma. I am interested to see how he is after Silva's gone. Is he able to lead this team? Everyone's talking about he's the best centre back last season. All these things. I personally didn't pick a centre back because I don't see any leadership, type qualities in any of them yet, where they're going to take this defense and be the primary centre back, not the secondary. So until I see that from one of the other brothers, I'm not going to pick one. But yeah, that's my back 3. Who you guys picking?
I would agree. I feel like it's mad because Christensen naturally has to be in there because he's the ball playing centre back. Like naturally, when you have the one in the middle, like Thiago Silva fill that role. I wouldn't put Aspie in there. Zuma, no. Rudiger on the ball, no. So he would be in there for that. I feel that on that other side, especially if you're going to have like Alonso, he probably feels like Rudiger has a bit more experience. But I would argue that Zuma's probably, they both can be brash at times, but Zuma might be a bit more calm, especially after what he did midweek. There is reason to say you put Zuma over Rudiger. But I would probably expect to see Rudiger in there, just of knowing how Tuchel is and everything. And then Aspilicueta's the experience, it speaks for itself. I feel like he's just a model professional. Like he's so important to everything we do. Like this is someone that people were saying that was rubbed out, he was done. Like he's still here, he's still evident. Like, yeah, he's needed. So I feel like that 3 as the base makes sense. And yeah, I'd say that I would go with that 3 as well.
The thing is, I would go with that 3 as well, just to maintain consistency. Yeah, but Christensen scares me, man, and he's done enough for me to say that I like him on the ball. When he came in against Tottenham, was it the Tottenham game that Silva got injured, or was it the game after?
It was Tottenham, I swear, because I feel like he went to stretch for something against Tottenham, and we were backs against the wall.
Yeah. So
when he came on,
when Christensen plays, there's the traditional centre back, like the first fundamentals is to be gritty, to be hungry, to tackle, header, challenge, like to make the strikers that play against you fear you. Yeah. Christensen, for me, doesn't have that. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's the only reason why I'm kind of fearful about him playing sometimes, because even though we've said like Callum Wilson's out and Joe Linton's coming in, but Joe Linton's a big lad. Like, do you get what I'm saying? If he's onto Christensen, all he has to do is win the first header to know that he's got Christensen in his back. And for me, that's one thing that Christensen's lacked over his whole Chelsea career. Like he's had patches in and out of the team, but one thing that kind of gets to me is that he comes across as too soft sometimes. And for centre backs like Zuma, Rudiger, you know that even if they're gonna make a mistake, they'll clean you out. Like they will clean the man out and say sorry after. Do you get what I'm saying? Christensen will clean you out and be on the floor hurt. Like, and I've seen that multiple times. So it's like, yeah, fair enough. Let's see what he does against Newcastle. If he can handle a forward that is kind of bigger than him, that is going to challenge him for every ball. And let's Andy fam, I didn't even forgot Andy Carroll's in the cup. Fam, if Andy Carroll if he tries to ping Christensen, it could be peak. Like,
the key thing for me though is like I feel like this is where management and gamecraft comes in. Like I wouldn't expect, especially with the 3, I wouldn't expect to see him engage with any of that. Like he's there to play the ball out and let Rudiger. Rudiger loves the scrap. Like for anything, like one leg will be there, one leg on the pitch. Like let him get involved in the scrap. You're there to kind of sweep up. Aspilicueta is another intelligent defender that can kind of sweep up or do the interceptions. Christian is essentially there as the outlet and sort of the second sweep in terms of, okay, they're coming on this side, let me get around. He shouldn't really, because it's not, like you said, it's not his game. I remember when I thought it was Conte, but it was actually Sarri that said that he gets nervous before matches and everything. Yeah. And all this type of stuff. Like,
I can see that. You can actually see that in him.
This is why I can't really warm up to him, because I'm a guy who likes it all. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I want the ball playing, cool, but you do need to still be able to do the other side of the game as well. You need to be able to kick a man in the back of his heel like John Terry did and got sent off against Barca. Do you know what I'm saying? It wasn't the wisest move, but the brother could sweep with his left foot, bring a ball from left side to centre back, great passing out the back. That's what doesn't get spoken enough of John Terry, but he was also a nasty bastard as well. I need bastards in my defense. That is your defense. Like, don't forget what the term defense means, people. Defense, bro.
Against everything, fam.
Against everything, bro. Like, you're meant to be defending us against every weapon possible. That is your job. And when you're not like that, I start to think, okay, are you really about the army life, or are you just gonna are you gonna allow a man to just do whatever he wants? That's my thing. I don't want to be so old school about it, but I get an upset stomach about it. You know what I'm saying? When I'm watching the game. But yeah, I mean that will have to be our back 3. I mean, I know there's definitely concerns with Andy Carroll, and listen, if Steve Bruce is smart, I'm not gonna lie. If he watched the Barnsley game, he'd stick Joe Linton and Andy Carroll up front together and just say, bun it, fam. Because at least then you give yourself something. You know what I'm saying? Go 4-4-2 and just lump it up and see what goes on and just press from there. But let me not give the man too many ideas just in case, you know what I'm saying? Wingbacks for me, I would go Alonso and Hudson-Odoi. I don't know what you guys think, but personally, Reece James for me at right wing back, I'm not feeling it, because I feel like at right side of centre back, he can cross anyway. At right wing back, if you're going 1v1 or you're meant to make that run in behind, You're meant to make that third man blind run. You're meant to have that electric speed that you look for when he doesn't have it.
I think he's playing within himself though, man. It's a strange one for Reece James because I actually think he's capable of being a very good right wing back. But there's sometimes when he's driving with the ball, like I've seen him in games where he's completely said like this right side is mine. I'm gonna overlap. I'm gonna cut inside. I can play it inside. I can even swing it into the box with my left, or I can like occupy that area in the middle where if Aspie comes down the right, I can kind of play in that middle area because he can play CDM as well. He can play in the middle as well. But it's like I think he's just reserved. I think he's trying to do everything right, like everything perfect, because obviously he's got a new manager. He doesn't want to take too many risks, but he's got to realize like he's capable of all these things. And I think if he does play within himself, then like you said, Hudson-Odoi makes more sense. But I don't like Hudson-Odoi going the other way. Do you get what I'm saying? And the team that we're playing against, like you said, they've got Joe Linton, they've got Andy Carroll. We're gonna need those bodies. Like, do you get what I'm saying? And defensively, if they do have Almiron and Maximum on the wings, I would prefer Maximum 1-on-1 versus James. Then I'd prefer him against Hudson-Odoi. Do you get what I'm saying? So these things that you have to kind of accommodate. Like, it's like, which one's the worst of evil? Would you rather Hudson-Odoi for maybe better balance going forward, or Reece James for the defensive, like being a defensive rock? So I would prefer Reece James just because I think that if Tuchel does get in his brain that I trust you and you can make a mistake and I won't get onto you too tough, you can try and overlap and just swing the across the, like his deliveries are so good, like, and he can get himself into positions where he can actually beat a man. Reece James isn't that fullback that struggles to beat men sometimes. Obviously, he's not the most tricky player, but he can play those 1-2s in and around, man. He can deliver the ball from anywhere. So it's like, bro, just believe in yourself. But yeah, I'm Reece James.
Reece, yeah. What about you, bro?
No, I hear it. The reason why I would go more Hudson-Odoi is I think we had this conversation before, Matisse. Said it at stoppage time as well. In terms of a wing back, like, you're a winger first and foremost, and then the back element comes into it. Like, and I feel like Reece James will be able to do it. He's got ability. Like, the kid's sick. I feel like in terms of how the season is, again, that's one that needs coaching in terms of, I need you to play as a winger first and foremost. Like against Barnsley, he was right back, right, and he did the goal for Tammy.
Yeah.
In that right back position, because he's probably so used to it and understands the patterns of play that comes into it and the overlap, it's a lot easier process than thinking, I'm a winger, where's my starting position? How do I violate my man, or how do I do this and that? So I feel like if you have Hudson-Odoi who kind of understands wing play, you can do that. And in terms of his defensive duties for Hudson-Odoi, all it is about getting back and being a body, because ultimately you've got your three at the back, everyone kind of shuffles over, you come in and you're there. Like, I think it was the Wolves game the first time we saw it. All he literally had to do was chase the ball all the way back, get in there, sweep. Like, it's not actual defending, because your three defenders should be able to defend. Like, that's what they're there for. You're almost there to be this sort of extra option or full safe option. So I feel like, especially with the way Newcastle are, I think it's Lewis on one side typically, and I don't think it's Dummett, it's someone else. They don't really get up like that. They're not really going to give stress. Really and truly, a lot of their outlet is going to come from deep balls, or Shelby trying to knock it, or St. Maximin and possibly Almiron if he decides to turn up and do stuff. I think he's got 3 and 4 as well. So he's feeling himself at the moment. But Hudson-Odoi going forward for us is a really key outlet. And if you have Hudson-Odoi as wing back, it then allows you to try some other combinations in the front 3 positions, and you should have more potency going forward. So that's why I'll go with him on that side. And then Alonso's the same thing. He is wing before he's back. Like, that's why he can't
he don't come back sometimes.
Exactly. He is like left wing. So again, that's another outlet. If the forwards are not scoring, we need as many goal scoring outlets as possible. We're not going to have them in the midfield. If Zuma's not in the team, we don't really have it from the headers. So we might as well have it from the wing backs.
I test merchant. Barnsley gave every team the recipe to just press us. I think to be honest, I mean, I am worried sometimes when we are pressed, but I think Tuchel will be able to coach this team to evade the press. that's going to half rely on ball playing centre backs, which is why we're probably looking at them, and 2 also, just pure coaching. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people are saying, why you guys talk about defense, huh?
I feel like goal scoring as well, though. Like, our forwards are not scoring it. If our forwards were scoring properly,
it'd be so different.
Teams would know not to press, because if you get through, you're conceded. There's a difference. So I feel like if our forwards started scoring, no teams won't look like, okay, let's try and press that midfield, because if it's evaded, you only need one chance. People probably think, okay, you know what? This guy's not scoring. This guy's not scoring. Even if they get the ball forward, we can win it off them. And so, again, like, if this is a good example of if we can get those 2 goals early and kill the game off early, which I hope and expect us to do, then it's like, all right, cool. Chelsea can sort of do this anymore. We can't take them for joke and try and press them and anything. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are saying obviously Reece can play wing back. Of course, he can play there, but for me, because we're trying to get attackers onto the pitch to make this 3 at the back not be so defensive, you put Reece at right centre back and you say, cool, you can still step into midfield, create overloads, do the Aspie role under Conte, get forward in a controlled manner and step into midfield like you did for Wigan, play inside that centre back position like you did in the youth days as well, and you give yourself an extra attacker with Hudson-Odoi on the pitch, then you can go with the 2 10s. So it's just about being a bit more attacking and not being so defensive, because I understand Newcastle are obviously going to bring their threats physically, but they're still going to be a team that we have the majority of possession against, so we want to break down. The double pivot is an interesting one. For me, it's not even for me, I can't even entertain anybody other than Jorginho and Kovacic, because Kante didn't play well when he came in. I know he's still getting back to fitness maybe, but he wasn't good when he came into the team. The 2 times I've seen him come in, turnovers have been happening. And Billy Gilmore is still young, and we know he's 4th choice under Tuchel. We kind of just said it. So what about you guys?
I think, it's a no-brainer, man. It's a no-brainer. But it's that's why I think that it's harder for Kante to thrive in this formation, because he's not that ball-playing CM. Like, the way we play ball in with 3 at the back, you kind of have to be comfortable with the ball in dangerous areas. You have to offload the ball in dangerous areas as well. And Kovacic and Jorginho are very good at doing that. If anything, that's the best side of their game. And they kind of complement each other very well. Like, they get each other out of situations a lot of the time. When teams do try to press us, you normally see them trying to play around teams. And I don't think Kante can do that as well. When he's coming to the team, and it's weird because Tuchel said that he loves him so much. This is what strange to me, because Tuchel said he loves him so much. He's the model professional, all of this stuff. But the formation he's playing is not a formation for Kante to thrive. Like, I don't see him playing him in that double pivot over those 2, because they're too. They're like the tradition, like Kovacic especially. He's like the traditional centre midfielder. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, and Jorginho is the pace setter. So if you take one of them out, you're risking having a very unbalanced double pivot. Like, so I don't know, man. I think I don't know how Kante is going to get into this team with this formation.
Yeah, I don't worry too much personally, because he has played double 6 in his career, but it's one of them ones where, again, you need them ball playing centre backs on the right and the left, because the left side is neglected to the fact that Rudiger can't step forward with his left foot and open up the pitch. The right-hand side, Aspie's not a ball-playing centre-back either. If you had those things, you could probably neglect a ball-playing mid, and then you know what I'm saying, you compensate. What about you, bro?
I feel like he's a model professional, and people like that, like, they work and it happens. And I feel like, again, this order is still happening. We could end up changing formation next few games. Atletico's come in. We can see... we might see him there. I just feel like, in terms of, like, in games where you need to show impetus, right? It will almost be counterproductive. And I've said that we lack XG in those positions, but playing Kante against Newcastle, they're not going to have any of the ball.
Yeah,
they're not going to have any of the ball. We're not going to need to recover the ball. In terms of, like, we need to really get in there and everything. Like, they're going to forfeit us most of the possession. So it's better to have those other 2, because they are better with the ball.
The ball,
like,
yeah.
Kante's finish or Kante's a bad player and everything. It just means that for this sort of game, it's not best suited for him to sort of like, start. He might come on when we need to come on, but I feel like if we're going to have 60, 70, 80% of possession, then have a Jorginho that was going to pop it about, have a Kovacic that can move forward with the ball. It just makes more sense to me.
I think the upcoming games, Southampton, Man United, and Atletico, you're going to see some Kante. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm not worried. I think them games, because Atletico are way more taking it to teams this season. They've scored a lot of goals in La Liga as well. Suarez is like 16 goals in 17 or some mad shit like that. Man United, we know. I don't know what's wrong with them when they come up against us. They want smoke. And then Southampton are just a little bit more of a progressive team in general, but I think their form's torrid at the moment. So yeah, I think we'll see Kante. And then obviously, finally, the front three. This is where it gets peak, gentlemen, because I don't know what to say about. I don't know who to play. I don't know who's fit. Kai, someone said he's not missing. I put up flyers the last week. We couldn't find him. You know what I'm saying? No one told us in the press conference where this brother is. Ziyech is obviously back as well. Pulisic is back, but they're not really on form. Timo dead leg. Don't know if it's alive yet. I don't know. I really don't know who to play here.
Mount. It'll probably be Mount, Werner, and who's the other one I was going to say? Tammy.
Yeah,
Tammy. I think that's the same with me.
Probably because I feel like the case of Tammy is such an interesting one. This is someone that's grafting his socks off. Like people, he may not be the player that people want him to be, but he's our top goal scorer in the league. I think he's our top goal scorer in the league. He's still scoring goals. He's still delivering. And to a certain extent, even if we want Timo Werner to be, revolt the player and be that guy and everything, there comes that element of you have to earn your shirt. And I feel like even with his performances, they're getting better. The goals are still not there yet. I feel like there is a way that he can potentially utilize both of them. I'm not saying it's like the 4-4-2-2-2 or whatever, but you can utilize both of them, especially with a side like Newcastle. Like if you want to get crosses in, I probably trust. Can you really trust Tam with crosses? I don't know. That's the thing though. But I genuinely feel there is a way you can utilize them, even if it's Mount behind them and having them two as a two, and just having that movement they had, and then trying to get the ball in and cutting into them two. One of them has to take the onus and say that, you know what, we need to have a goal. But I reckon it's both of them starting with Mount and around them. I feel like Mount this season has done really well. We also mentioned as well that now that he's getting that opportunity to be in a more attacking position, if our forwards are not scoring, there's a lot more pressure on him to be that player, like he was at the teams, like he was at Derby. So I hope he can thrive in that as well, because he's shown he can do that. He's shown he's got a good eye for goal. He can score important goals. He can create. So I reckon it's going to be that. I think Pulisic has to fight his way into the team and probably doesn't have the goal scoring threat. Ziyech, if you're bringing Ziyech in, it means that you probably have to bring in Ziyech for Mount. And I don't think that's going to happen. So, yeah, I reckon it's them through.
Yeah, I would agree. Sam, how do you feel? Because those three are the ones that are playing well, I guess, isn't it? It's just going with really meritocracy at the end of the day.
Yeah. That like literally just play who's doing well in it. Like none of this just trying to put players in. I mean, that's what Lampard was trying to do as well. He was trying to put players in just for the sake of it, in it. Like play the players that are doing well, and they will hopefully continue to do well. And if they don't, then maybe you can switch it up. But I think with Tammy, like Mayowa said, it's a difficult one with him, because I want to rate him so much because I can tell he's working so hard, but I think more time as a striker, I think he's thinking about it too much in a sense. Like I don't see him have a like a natural instinct in a sense where there's been so many times, like fair enough, he got the goal against Barnsley where he was in the right place at the right time, but there's been so many times where he's in the box and he's just not in the right place at the right time. And for someone like him as well, a tall man, a physical man, that should be there, should be very should be a big threat in the box. For someone that isn't, it's kind of strange to see. And the type of player he is as well, when you see him like moaning when the ball don't come to him, and it's like, no, bro, you're not in the right place. Like the ball went like Hudson-Odoi slashed it across the box, and you should be there. Do you get what I'm saying? And even Werner to a certain extent. And I think that's why it's kind of good to have both of them, because they both got their strengths and they both got their weaknesses in it. Tammy gets a goal regardless in it, but for me, Werner, I prefer Werner to play because his all-round game, his movement is what it gives us more of a creative outlet for us to like turn teams around, or like give teams something more to worry about with his pace in behind, in it. But if they both just click, if they have that moment where Tammy his hold up is just so much better, he's just in the right place at the right time, Werner starts capitalizing on getting in behind and actually just scoring these goals, it could their partnership could be crazy. And then having Mount in behind, he won't even have to do too much. Like, do you get what I'm saying? But for now, I think that's like I'll be happy with that front three. Like, I'll be confused if it's anything different.
Tammy gets his goals against just the lower league, the lower teams in the league as well. So this fixture is kind of perfect for him. You know what I'm saying? They did strike up a little connection at the start of the season as well, where they looked like as if they could fire. Before we wrap up this super chat here, you guys are not saying it how it is. It's honest, how it is. We just don't have the quality starting 11. Most of our starting 11 is still developing. 100% they're still developing, but what you need to remember as well is who's the owner of the football club. You see what I'm saying? And we, as a football club, you can develop all you like. The expectations are still to get top 4 and then next season to challenge. So you can develop, but you need to develop quickly. And as we saw, you know, Lampard potentially didn't develop quickly enough for the owner's liking. And if these players don't develop quickly enough and they don't show strides every season getting better, you think Roman won't go and get Erling Haaland? Because you will.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
up.
He got Anelka when he already had Drogba. He got Torres when he already had Drogba. So I think you guys have to mirror and marry the football club that you're following and the history with the players that you're going with. Yes, they need time to develop. Yes, we're gonna give them time to improve. Like we said, really, with every new signing, they get the whole season to sort themselves out for the second season. However, just remember who we are as well. You know what I'm saying? This is not Arsenal or Tottenham where you're going to get all day long, because this brother wants trophies as well. So, and Tuchel knows that. Hence the way that he's speaking. So Tammy needs to improve that heading ability. Second season running where we're looking for it. Of course, he's top scorer, which is great. For me, it's just about finalizing them goals now in the bigger games, which is, again, why we are where we are, because we're not patting up the top 6 and the top 7. People, it's been a great preview. Obviously, let us know in the comments what you guys are thinking in terms of the team. I want to know what team you guys are going to put out and etc. like that. How confident you are for the game. Big up to the preview gang. First show, you see what I'm saying? About 350, 60 people live. 11 a.m. on a Valentine's Day. You see what I'm saying? People still tuning in. Sam, let them know where they can find you, bro.
YouTube, my YouTube channel should be in the description below. Socials _ Sam Obaski, or on Football Daily, the Snapchat stuff and some of the YouTube stuff as well. Yeah, see me there.
100%. People, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. You see what I'm saying? And Mayowa, bro, where can they find you as well?
Mayowa Quadri _ and everything. Stoppage Time TV versus all of that good stuff. You know where to find it.
100%. And people, we've got, I don't know, are we going to get a channel from you as well? Because obviously I see Farad drop the channel.
It is.
That's what I was thinking as well.
Everyone's doing this Destiny's Child thing, bruv. Man, I'm trying to take on that, bruv. Like, what, man's not got that? Yes, we'll see it. We'll see it. I've got a couple of things in the pipeline, not channel-wise, but we'll see. We'll see.
Perfect. Like I said, people, the links are in the description for Stoppage Time TV and Sam's channel as well. Big up you guys every time for joining us. Thank you so much for 10K. It's the first stream after we hit 10K, obviously, so that's a big milestone.
Now, shout out you though.
Thank you, man.
Consistency is
100%
serious, bro. Serious, bro. And you got an army behind you, so it's way.
So the fiends that were calling for the roundabout to come back.
Yeah. That was the early show when the channel was still fresh, and it's still coming back 100%. But obviously, lockdown. You can't be out here baiting yourself out and snitching yourself by being outdoors and filming around about 4 a.m. when people are out here. So, you know, catching COVID. So yeah, man's staying inside. Man's not even in London anyway. You know what I'm saying? Hence for the dodgy Wi-Fi at the times. We're in the middle of the countryside in the island, just living it up. But like I said, people, when lockdown's done, we'll get back to that as well. And then we're gonna have a situation where you're probably gonna get 2 uploads a day. We're gonna have the streams and the shows, and then the outside stuff as well. Me and Sam was just talking off air about how we miss going outside. You see what I'm saying? Doing all that kind of stuff. So yeah, man, the creativity not gonna stop on that front. People, it's been an absolute blessing. Thank you for joining me on the debut show. And obviously, like I said, thank you for 10K. We keep it moving, the next milestone. And yeah, let's go and bag the 3 points, because it's only W's around there, people. You see what I'm saying?
Need that.
No else. In a bit, people.
Peace.
Perfect.